Morning, everybody. Rusty from the Rusty Razor. Got another shave of the day, and today we're using PAA's Irish Springs. It's like Irish Spring soap. Yep, smells like Irish Spring. It's got that greenish look. It's like they took Irish Spring soap, ground it up, and put it in here. That's like what it feels like. And then we got the first use to the London Bridge blades. An empty pack now because it's all in here. And the Edwin Jagger razor. Yeah. But I have more. There's another pack here somewhere. Where is it at? There it is. So, another pack. So, yes, I have plenty of spares. All right. Yeah, Irish Spring. The soap. Smells just like it. Did a good job. That's one thing I have to say. They do a good job of making good sense for their stuff. All right, and then we're going to follow up with a bit of Pinaud Clubman vanilla. This, I felt like it. You can smell it already in the hand. It's kind of leaking out. All right, so how's your day going? Mine's doing all right. Woke up in a good mood. Not feeling any pain. Still early in the day, though, right? So, yeah, not much going on. It is that holiday that's coming up, or is, whatever. You know, you got St. Patrick's Day. It's like every time I have St. Patrick's Day coming around, it's like I always break that out because it's the closest I got. Twee is the other one that's very similar, but not quite the same, but it's kind of like a heather scent to it. I remember as a kid, the first time I smelled Irish Spring soap, and I'm like, what is that? I was probably about 4 at the time when I smelled it. All right. Yeah, it's like I remember as a kid smelling it, and it's like, what is that stuff? That's a soap. And I asked my mom what it was because we were over at someone's house. My dad was always a zest. He always liked zest soap. Then when the soap lava came onto the market in the 70s, I think it was, started getting that. Had a bar of lava in the kitchen. He'd come home from work and hands a lot of times were all greasy from work. One of those things where we had a farm, but he also did construction work to supplement, because he didn't make a lot of money farming. It's like, to this day, people think farmers are rich because they had all this expensive equipment. Like, hey, I got a tractor, it's only $1 million, you know, that type of thing. Yeah, you don't get into farming to be rich, that's for sure. Especially if you're a dairy farmer, which we were. Everybody up there where I grew up was all dairy farmers. Except for the wheat ranch. And a Texan that was up there. We go up the Texan ground. They bought like 10,000 acres of land. My dad, that was part of my dad's job, was clearing that acreage off the ranch, as they called it. It basically butted up along the east side of the Red Lake Indian Reservation, and you know, our acreage was on the southeast corner of the reservation, and so kind of like diagonally across was connecting up to our property. But they hired a bunch of people to go and clear. So my dad was part of construction company that also worked. Ah, crap. Just dropped my towel in the water. But it, you know, his job was to clear property off, so he was doing that. Started off, they hired the company to do it, and then they ended up just hiring my dad on to be a foreman to facilitate all the stuff that's on the ranch, doing all of it. Clearing, the planting. My older brother, when he turned 13, his first job was working on the ranch, helping planting. You know, so. And then they'd hire, or we'd go through and hire a bunch of his teenagers or youngsters that would go through and walk, picking rock. That was part of one of my first jobs I ever had, was picking rock, getting paid. Never seen a dime of it, but you'd go through and have these wagons, dump wagons, and you'd walk the fields picking up rocks, because over winter we did the same thing on our farm. When you'd we had it was like corn, wheat, alfalfa. That was kind of the rotation that we had. And then or oats, one of the two. Typically it was oats. And the reason is, like, you'd plant the oats along with the alfalfa seed, and you'd harvest the oats, and then the alfalfa would grow up among where they'd start having a hay crop the next year. And you usually had a hay field for about 4 or 5 years, and then you'd plow it under and have a couple years of corn, and then you go right back to oats, then alfalfa. It's like typically a 40-acre field would be, you know, a rotation. But before you, in the spring, before you had early spring, right after the frost goes out, you'd plow the field up and go out with a wagon, and you'd walk alongside the wagon in a row, and you're slowly moving forward, and you're picking up rock and just throwing it in a bucket. And every year you'd go over to where the rock pile was. I think I just cut that thing. And dump it. And it was the same thing. I don't know, all the farms did the same thing. So, yeah, every farm had an area where they, depending on where it was on the farm, it's like everybody, literally everybody had a big old rock pile. And I remember it was a few years that since my dad was operating the D8, D9, had access to it, the farmers would go, "Hey, I got this big old boulder. Could you come over and pull that sucker out of there and dig it out for us?" And it's typically, you'd have rocks the size of a car or something that would be pulled out of a field and pushed with the dozer. My dad had the trailer. It was like he'd be the one that would haul the dozer around on the trailer and then operate it. So he's a one-man operation, basically. And so they had slip them a few bucks along the side to do the job for them. And we had the same thing in ours. It's like you'd be going along plowing a field, and all of a sudden, tink, like you can come out with shovels and trying to. It's like, oh, this is the big one. It's going to take some more work than just shovels. Even the tractor, this is not going to work. So break out the dozer. Yeah. Oh, because of soap, memories come back. Yeah, he'd come home from work and get the old lava soap, and because the lava soap kind of had a citrus scent, if I remember right. It's been a long time since I smelled it, but I think it was more citrus. But yeah, basically it had pumice from, the reason called lava because it had pumice in it from ground up pumice that would help scour your hand. It was pretty strong soap. It's basically not a bath soap by any means. But it was good for getting the grime off your hands. And we had other soaps. Like I remember it's like we started buying Irish Spring. Dad still liked the Zest. He didn't like the Irish Spring, so we had Zest. For him. And a lot of the kids, we used Irish Spring soap for our baths. And when we were in junior high and high school, we were always in sports. It was football, wrestling, and then track for the most part. You get done with practice and it's like you'd be all sweaty and you go shower before you everything. And the cool thing is up there you had a bus that would take you home after school sports activities. So that was about the only way they could get kids to be in sports, was have a athletic bus. Now, they had a few, so that would take you a while to get home, but otherwise you'd never be in sports because your parents would never pick you up. Or it was really bad. It was like after you'd have a football game or something, you had to wait forever to get picked up and taken home. Parents never would go to the games. That would cost money to go watch the game, so. There are times when it's like you go to a track meet. Because typically, meets were like, a lot of them were 2-3 hours away. So you'd have a meet to get over about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock that evening, and then it'd be like 1 or 2 in the morning before you get home. And then you still have to get back on the bus to go to school the next morning, which would be at, getting on the bus at 7 a.m. Yeah, long ass days. Yeah, it was a long long distance between people. So where are we going? We're going to Roseau. Going up to International Falls. Going over to Duluth. Going to Brainerd. 2-3 hours away. Football game. Where are we going? Pine River. How far is that? About 2 hours. That was your conference. Yeah, a lot of people that played sports, and I guarantee it's like that would out west, even farther west than like the Dakotas and Wyoming, and a long distance in between schools. You can probably testify to that. Ours wasn't much different. Alright, I think we're done. There we go. We done. Oh, there's an affiliate link down below to the razor company. So if you haven't clicked on it, click on it, you get whatever product you want from the razor company, and I get a kickback, which goes towards when we're gonna do giveaways. Oh. All right, I made a mess today. Okay. All right, so let's do a little bit of Pinaud Clubman vanilla. Could do the Avon, but the Pinaud Clubman works just as well. Sometimes. There we go. A little bit of that stings right there, and I just got a little bit right here. Not much. The secret of not having razor burn. Mild razors. Alright, so that's the shave of the day, everybody. That was brought to you by PAA's Phoenix Artisan Accouterments, PAA. Irish Springs. Nice little scent. Then we had the first use of the empty box of the London Bridge with the Edwin Jagger razor DE89. Nice little combination. Works good. So that's the shave of the day, everybody. Hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Rusty out.